Welcome to the 27th tutorial in Python. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to return values from your functions. Hey everyone, it's me Sairam and I'll be your host for today. When we define a function, we're often going to get a result, something useful we can use elsewhere in our program. That's why the return keyword comes in. It's how a function sends information back to where it was called. For example, over here, we have def squared x, return x into x, result is equal to square of 5, and print square is the result. Let's break this down. Square is a function that takes one number and multiplies it by itself. But instead of printing the answer, it returns it. That means we can now assign the result to a variable, use it in calculations, or pass it to another function. It's the difference between just showing something and actually using it. When we run it, as you can see, the square is 25. If I were to change it to 10, we would get the square is 100. It works like that. The next point is one of the most common misunderstandings for beginners, thinking that printing a value is the same as returning it, but they're totally different operations. In this function, we have def bad add a comma b, print a plus b. Now, we want to store our result in a variable. Sum result is equal to bad add 3 comma 4 and print result is sum result. Here's what happens. The function prints 7 at first, but the sum variable, sum result, isn't holding that value. It's actually none. Why? Because we did not use return. When you only print a value, it goes to the screen, but not in your variables. Always return a variable if you plan to store or reuse it. What exactly is none? In our, in our function here, we have def do nothing, pass, and print do nothing. Pass is one way to make an empty function. If I were to remove this pass and create a function, it would put an error because it expects something in the function. That's why developers made pass so that we can just make empty functions. Now going back to the topic, none is a specially built constant that Python uses to mean nothing or no value here. When the function ends without a return statement or it just runs pass, Python quietly adds a return none behind the scenes. This is completely valid and sometimes it's even useful. But it's also why it's important to be intentional. Return something if your function is expected to provide a result. Functions are limited to returning only one value. In fact, Python makes it easy to return multiple values at once by packing them into a tuple. We will learn about tuples later. In this example, we have both minimum and maximum from the list in one function call. As you can see, low high is equal to min max 2518. It's all in one list. Python lets us unpack them right into two variables, low and high. This is great when the function has 2 or 3 related outputs you want to handle together. When you run it, as you can see, the minimum number is 1 and the maximum number is 8. Let's switch gears and talk about recursion. Complex word, isn't it? But it just means that a function can call itself. Over here we have def countdown. If n is equal to 0, print liftoff, else print n, and we once again call the function countdown inside its own self, countdown 5. So this function prints numbers in a descending order until it hits 0. As you can see, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off, where it prints lift off. Here's how it works. Countdown 3 calls countdown 2, which calls countdown 1, which calls countdown 0. That's the base case, and it stops the loop. Recursive functions are perfect for solving problems that can be broken into smaller versions of themselves, like directory searches, tree structures, or math problems. Now, let's try to apply recursion to something more mathematical, calculating factorials. For this one, we'll be writing the code together. Over here, let's name our function factorial, and let's give it a number n. Now, let's say if the user typed 0, we can't really find a factorial of it. So we just want to return 1. So how would you do that? We would do that by putting if n is equal to 0. Then we want to return 1. Now, what if the user actually entered an actual value? Else, factorial is basically you take the number, let's take 5, you subtract the number 4, 5 into 4, subtract 4 by 1, you get 3, 5 into 4 into 3, subtract 3 by 1, you get 2, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, subtract 2 by 1, you get 1, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is equal to 120. How will you put that in code? We do this by putting return n times the factorial. Once again, we're calling the factorial function n minus 1. Now, let's say we want to print the factorial of 5. When we run the code, you can see 120. Well, what is the difference in the recursion we used here and the recursion we used here? There's only one difference. Over here, we just simply used print, but over here, we used returned. Without that base case, the function would run forever. Base case means this. If I never put this, the function would just keep on running, resulting in an infinite function running. So always double check that your recursive logic has an exit. In the next video, we're going to tackle function scope. So make sure to stay tuned for the next video. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and smash the like button.